Hey guys, welcome back to another amazing show. This is Real Estate Uncensored. We got an amazing marketing roundtable. I have my two incredible co-hosts. Jake is looking for God knows what he's looking for over there. Gene is looking there. He's got a smirk on his face like he knows everything about the world and what's going on. But I want to just say, guys, welcome. Thank you for spending your time with us. But I want to introduce my incredible two co-hosts, Gene Wolfe, the ever handsome man. How are you, buddy?
Greg McDaniel, it is such a pleasure to be in your presence, as we do every Wednesday. You and Jake the Snake, the Sarge, in charge. It's good to be with both you boys today.
Dude, it's such a pleasure to spend time with you guys. We're talking smack behind the curtain. We're doing our pre-show, absolute blast. But before we dive into what we're going to talk about today, we have Jake the Wolf, the Big Papa, the Sarge, Sergeant Wolf. How are you, buddy?
You know me, I'm better than I deserve, and I deserve a lot, Gregory.
That is very true. And a week ago today, you and I were almost at this exact time, we were talking with Doug. And Doug is our new villain on our show because he's a rent-a-cop who tried to shame us for not wearing a mask while we were drinking coffee, actively drinking coffee, by the way. And Jake, the guy came up, and the guy's like, "Do you gentlemen have masks?" Jake has his hands behind his head. He's like, "I do, sir. Thank you very much."
I do, Doug. Thanks for asking. I actually have 10 of them. Do you need one?
Such a
the world that we live in. Are we going to count down this show and kick this thing off and get into it?
I always forget to do that with you guys. Mainly because I'm exhausted. But here's our countdown, ladies and germs. I can't tell you how much I'm glad I'm not hungover today. I'm exhausted, but I'm not hungover. I didn't sleep well. What about you guys? No, you got to unmute.
No. We got to unmute, right? So I'm not drinking right now. I'm drinking aqua, so I feel good.
You feel
fantastic, Greg.
Well, I know you guys do. You guys got 3 seconds. Get your pens and paper. All right, there it is. Marketing.
Why do you need multiple pens in one piece of paper?
Because what if one runs out of?
Get your pens and paper.
And Jake is sitting there with his pad and paper, just taking notes. But
look, he's got one pen and multiple papers, not the other way around.
Okay, now I'm going to just kick your ass. All right, gentlemen, germs, guys, what are we going to cover today? I mean, we got some.
I'll tell you what we're going to cover. Before we get into it, hold on, because I told you pre-show I was going to tell you about this.
Okay,
I wonder if everybody else is seeing the same thing, but this is where we're having our problem with our numbers, right? So if I share my screen, hold on. You see our video, right?
Yeah, there it is.
So if I like it and go to the share, I can share to my news feed with the video in here, right? See this?
Mm-hmm.
This is my personal one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here, if I share it to my pages, watch what happens. See how the video shows up?
What the shit?
Yeah, and that's pretty much like if you go...
So we're getting shadow banned?
I don't know what the deal is. It's weird because they let me do it on... If I share it to my news feed, I'm good to go, right? So I'll do this. But I can't share it to any of my business pages. So
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange what's happening. But I thought I'd share that because I can't imagine we're the only ones having issues with Facebook and/or live streams into it. But that's one of the reasons why we need our people to help us share the show. So if you're watching this, please give it a little click, huh?
Yeah, give us some love, man. Just give us a little tip out there, and let's see what happens. Okay, so gentlemen, we're going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff today. Jake, you came up with the idea, so walk us through. Jake, was it you that came up with the idea, or was it Gene? Yeah, it was Jake.
Yep, that was me.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Let's knock it down.
So, something that sticks out all the time for different people that have an extreme amount of success filling up their pipelines consistently and continually are the people that are looking at quarter 2, 3, 4 of every single year. And most people take activity to a new level, these successful real estate agents. So we're going to talk about schedules what most successful real estate agents are doing every single day, how many people they're actually reaching out to, connecting with, different things that they're saying, in order to just increase the law of averages substantially in their favor. So we need to keep a strong focus every single day, ladies and gentlemen, on the activities that you do and what you're saying so that it can empower you and put you in a better position to go and be successful in the future. So you're not looking around going, what in the world is happening right now? That's a little bit about what we're going to talk about. So it's about the morning routine. It's about what you're doing at night, getting ready for the next day. It's about how many people that you're reaching out to, what in the world you're saying. And if you don't have time, making sure that you have somebody to help you out or systems to go ahead and help you with this process. So.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. When it comes to daily routines, Gene and Jake, what are some daily routines you find very beneficial for every single human being on God's green earth? Jake, since you were just talking, we're going to lead off with you, and then we're going to go to Gene.
Yeah, so the goal on our teams is at a minimum to go ahead and connect to 100 people every single day, 100 new people, homeowners, existing people in your database, things like that. So what we typically do is get up in the morning, have a good breakfast, get a little bit of a morning workout in, and then we actually start utilizing text prospecting first thing in the morning. We find that people are less grumpy if you're actually texting them before noon instead of the afternoons. So we like to do a lot of that stuff. Typically, every single one of the agents over here are connecting, having at least good 5 conversations via text back and forth that are going to be fruitful at some point in the future. So this morning's stats were pretty awesome, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Walk us through a little bit in regards to when a lot of us are like when I started working with you, when it came to text messaging, I was kind of like, this is bullshit, right? But I mean, you guys get between a 40 and a 70% response rate when you do your marketing. So, is it worthwhile to do this on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? I mean, how would this work to get the responses? Then, Gina, I want you to jump in and say, okay, so once I get these people, how are we going to market to them to become relevant?
Yeah. So our overarching goal is in a 30-day period of time to connect with 1,000 new confirmed homeowners inside of a marketplace. So we're sending out 4 or 5 stage text drips in the morning, getting into responses. So it's a lot of communication that's happening, but it is definitely a preferred methodology of prospecting right now. It's soft, easy, and the scripts are working fantastic. So you just never know until you actually have the conversations, and that kind of goes towards success, right? It's just that you have to be connecting to create relationships. And what I really like about that is it's a soft way to go ahead and get into conversation, to go ahead and 1, confirm whether or not these people are the homeowners. 2, if there is any intent on possibly making a move this year, and it allows for us to go ahead and send the link to websites, follow up, say hello, put these people onto a nurture list or a follow up, and then go from there. So,
okay, Gene. So with this knowledge, what would your advice be?
Which part of it exactly?
I don't know. You pick your part and go with it.
Oh, you mean what am I doing on a regular basis?
Yeah, well, I mean, what Jake was just talking about, you find your database, you market to them, and then, I mean, how would you counter back and be more present with them?
Well, it's hard to answer when I don't know how they're going to respond. Obviously, you want to do you want to have all the tricks laid out, right? Like, so you can tell I'm thinking about 5 other things right now. But here's what it is. So once you get them on the hook, I think the first thing is to extract as much information from them as you possibly can, whether that be what it is that you can help them with or just contact information. And then for me, if you have a really nice system set up on each one of your platforms to communicate with them, you have more of a chance of being in front of them more often. So in other words, if you have, people say to me all the time, well, I have an email address. Is that good enough? And yeah, it probably is, but it's way more powerful if you have their email address, their second email address, their third email address, their cell phone, their landline, their physical street address, because you can do more stuff with that, right? I can upload their information into Facebook and retarget them. I can send them text messages. I can do slide dial drop calls. I can call them. And like everything I said, for the most part, once you set these things up, the the beginning of this is the hardest part because the setup is always the most painful. But once you have that information and you're able to drop their contact stuff into there, that stuff typically runs on autopilot. So it's really the human interaction type stuff that you got to do on a regular basis. And I'm going to tell you, as much marketing as I do, this repetition type stuff is my weak point for sure. Like if Jake said to me, "Okay, every day we're going to call 100 people," that's task one. I would go, "Okay, I quit." Like that's not how I roll. I can't do it. I shouldn't say it that way. It's just not something I've programmed myself to do. And that's what I say. I'm in a business where being a cold caller and somebody who reaches out and talks to people on the phone is a good thing, and I'm terrible at it. And so I wonder how much better my business would be if I was more like Jake in that aspect.
Now, so yeah, most people are, Gene. Most people have a tough time with the actual calling and all the rest of that stuff. So,
Well, I'll tell you part of what my issue is, because if you know me well enough, probably it's not like I'm good on camera and then we turn the camera off and I'm an introvert. Like my wife is like, we'll go out to a restaurant and it'll take me 40 minutes to get to the table because I see 6 people I know and I want to know about their kids. Like I'm an extrovert to the 10th degree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm afraid to do it. It's not like I don't do it. I think the repetition of it makes me nuts. And I also know this. If I scheduled myself 2 hours a day to do cold calls, I would effectively make one phone call because I would get that person on the line and we would talk for an hour and 55 minutes. I can't get out of my own way in the fact that when I get going, I get going. I'm always late for shit because my previous appointment ran on because we're talking. When I go to the gym, people are like, "Is Volpe's jaw warmed up yet?" Because he's fucking talking a lot. Like that's what I do. But the aspect of cold calling people and knowing that I got to sit on the phone with them, and not even cold calling, just calling you. I mean, Greg, how many times do I decline your call, but I'll respond to your voice text?
Almost never. But I mean, you do it, and you'll say immediately back like, "Hey, I'm in the gym," or "I'm in a meeting." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Then you'll hit me back almost immediately, and we'll have a conversation and go from there.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
just hate talking on the phone, dude. I say it all the time. Like, even a bunch of my friends that I grew up with all have these. You don't talk. My wife goes, "You don't talk to them on the phone. How do you expect to be invited to stuff?" I'm like, "I don't want to talk to grown men on the phone. Like, that's not what I do, dude. I don't like it."
so I would suggest something, right? So
Yeah.
it's not just about people cold calling, prospecting that are having that issue. The people on the other side of the phones are in the same position. Most people don't want to go ahead and have that conversation with somebody that they absolutely don't know. And as a matter of fact, most people would rather go ahead and text even some of their family members and friends and things like that.
Yep.
We've kind of pushed everybody towards this new culture of things in life, right? And think about all of the conversations that we have quickly back and forth via text. That's one of the reasons I like it so much. One, it's a time saver. All right. 2, it's a preferred methodology of communication. 3, there is this layer here to where anybody that is introverted or just doesn't want to, or it's just about the speed of the world that we live in right now. So quick responses back and forth. Yes, I might be interested. Yes, we were probably thinking about that. No, that's a rental property, but what is the home value? Those are quick, fast responses somebody can do on the fly. And it actually allows for us in the real estate profession to go ahead and pull people out of what was once a demographic audience and get them into more of an intent-based list so that we know, hey, there might be something going on here.
Right.
Send postcards, send letters, follow up, say hi, send email. So text is something that we do as a time saver, and I think that this is a big segment of the show. It's about finding systems and methodologies to go ahead and multiply your time efforts so that you're maximizing potential on a daily, weekly basis. And then that maximization is ultimately filling up your pipeline in the future. So I've got over 100 different messages in the last week from different real estate agents all across the U.S. and their virtual assistant programs to where these aren't like, I would say 50% of those are not, hey, we're selling right now. And I really want to sell, but I don't have a place to move to. If you can get us $900,000 for our home right now, we're looking to upgrade. We want a home that's western facing the mountains, but we just don't see the damn inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would go if I was going to sell. Or I had one the other day as far as, we tried selling about a year ago. We thought that it didn't sell because the house inside wasn't really up to date. So we spent a lot of money upgrading the inside. I don't feel a CMA is going to be really good. Can you come out and take a look at my home and tell me what you think? These are relationships that will start to establish so that when the time is right, you already have the connection and now you're helping these people out. But I love text like that. All right. So that's one thing that we do. Minimum every single day, make the attempts to go ahead and connect to 100 people on a daily basis.
So let me ask you a question, gentlemen. You're the marketers. I'm the real estate agent here. When it comes down to being personal or being professional, when it comes to doing marketing, where would you guys land on that on percentage basis? Would you be more personal or more professional? And how can you shift that? And what language would you use to make that shift?
So it's a dance, right? It's like the two-step. So when we're talking text, we set up in a very professional way.
Mm-hmm.
We say hi, introduce ourselves, don't mean to intrude. We're trying to go ahead and get confirmation if they're the homeowner. Then all of a sudden, once there's engagement, now you can start getting into a little bit more intimate relationship with these people via text response, which then helps solidify the relationship and conversation. I don't know if that's exactly what you were saying, but that's exactly how we do it over here.
What I'm asking is like a lot of people, and I'm on Clubhouse quite a bit, listening to agents, right? And I know Jake and Gene, you guys dabble and you dip your toes in your big pinky toes in there. A lot of folks get so caught up on not being professional, they don't understand how to be personal. And when it comes to marketing, people have to understand and like who you are. Like I know Jake is going to shake his head. Is like he's my new Matt. Like because I talk about shit, and he just shakes his head very quietly, like, "What the shit are you talking about?" But I mean, I got painted toenails and painted 2 fingernails now, and Gene's laughing at me.
We're back to the.
Yes, but here, this is why I bring it up. And yes, my fingernails did crack yesterday, and it was very annoying. I had to repaint them twice. But here's the thing. Shut up, Gene.
Hey, if it works, stick with it. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. When I talk about stuff like this, what I'm doing is I'm making myself very transparent, very personable, very just authentic to someone who may want to join up with me, and we can be buddies because whatever they have a story to tell. So what's that line when it comes to personal to professional? Yes, am I professional? 1,000%. Do I take multi-million-dollar listings every fucking week? Yes, I absolutely do.
I always go back to this, Greg. It's a personal preference. It really is. It comes down to a personal preference of how you want other people to go ahead and perceive you.
Right.
It really does. If you're comfortable in putting that kind of information out there, and that's totally acceptable to you and your brand and what you're trying to portray or attract, I mean, that's a personal preference.
Well, it is preference, and I mean, I always will be professional, but when it comes down to my personal style, I'm very much a tree hugging hippie. I mean, I want to smoke weed, hang out, kick it. Like, let's go down to the bar and have a couple of beers. I'm not high and tight. I'm not going to live in Miami. I'm not going to live in New York. Just not going. I just can't do it. Not my style, right? But that's my thing. So am I being professional when I'm being me, or am I being personal? And how would you monetize those? That's what I'm talking about. Because when it comes to marketing, I mean, there's a guy. He actually marketed himself as the tattooed real estate agent. This fool looks like he's just literally stepped out of prison, like full face tattoos, the whole 9 yards. Like he is covered in tats. This guy's crushing it. So he got a ton of money because he's owning it. Now, is he being personal or is he being professional? And where is that line drawn? And how can you blend them? Gene, Jake, questions, thoughts, theories?
I think you know which way I bend on that, right? Would you say that I'm 90% professional and 10% personal, or the opposite?
I go opposite.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think I will take 10. I look at it like the social media space. you tend to be a little bit more professional and watch the way you spell things and what you're saying on LinkedIn than you do the other platforms, right?
Right.
So if I'm in front of a high dollar value client, I may button up a little bit tighter than if I'm not. If I'm in front of a female, I might tighten my lips up a little bit further than I usually do because I don't curse. I don't openly curse like that in front of ladies, right? For the most part, unless I really know you, or I always say you open the floodgates. If somebody does that to me first, you just told me you invite it, and I can speak freely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think time and situation is a big deal. So if you're, I think I would be a little bit more professional if I was walking in to be the marketing company for the CEO of Comcast than I would be. I mean, but here's the thing: I'm always going to be true. That's the trick. I'm always going to be true. And here's one thing I've found in my career: whether it's speaking to a large audience or whether it's talking to somebody who doesn't know you and thinks you're there to sell, I try to always break the barrier with laughter. Once once I get somebody laughing, I have them in the palm of my hand,
Right.
and that is more. Sometimes that can be professional because I crack a joke about a service or something, and sometimes it can be a little off color, but always it's me. So the way you get me on day one is the way that you'll continue to get me on day 655,000. That's kind of who I am. So I don't know that it's necessarily personal versus professional for me. It's more true, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does make sense, and Gene, you and I have done hundreds of these shows at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jake is starting as our new co-host on our marketing roundtable show, so he's starting to see more and more of these guests and everything else on the back end and the front end. I mean, with the pre-show and the post-show, our guests who are high and tight, on air, dude, they're just as lewd and crude as we are, when they're not on camera. So I think there's something to be said to relate to other individuals. And again, this goes down to personal preference. I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm just saying for what my perspective is that I've found that some of the guys and gals that I've talked to that have been on our show, dude, they have laughed at some of my dumbest, lewdest jokes behind closed doors, and they're like, hee hee hee, and then they make a similar joke. So this is my point. I believe to my absolute core that everybody has the same kind of humor, but they're afraid to let it out. So is it bad to let your side out? Right? Could they bond with you, just because you made a 15-year-old boy's joke, or do you have to be all Mr. or Mrs. High and Tight, all buttoned up all the time? Because that gets fucking boring.
You know what though? Here's another element of it too that I don't know that we're talking about. The ability for you to be able to continue on in your endeavors, whether or not you lose a person in your life because you were real and true as opposed to professional. Are you okay over there, McDaniel? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you were doing something with your ear. I thought you were saying you could hear us.
I was scratching.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So what I mean by that is, like, how many times have you met a real estate agent that needed that next deal in order to feed the family, right? And so we chameleon sometimes into what we match and mirror basically who we're speaking to.
Right.
So if the person on the other end of the conversation to you seems to be a little bit more professional and buttoned up, you may go that way because the commission to you is more important than being true to yourself, right? I think there's an element of people that are successful that's attractive to people. So a guy like you is like, look, you don't want to really lose any $800,000 deals, but you probably make enough money that if you did lose it because you were being true to yourself and honest and transparent, that you'd be okay with it, as opposed to, how am I going to get my food next month? So there's always that element of when you're in business. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. They say that a lot. I do believe that people will do that. But I do think also that when you cross, there's a certain spot in an entrepreneur's life where you go, you know what, dude, I've got to a point now, and maybe my bank account's high enough where I can actually afford to lose the next deal. So I'm just going out being me. And if they don't want to work with me because I am me, I kind of am okay swallowing that, as opposed to, oh my God, I need this deal so bad, I'm desperate, and I'm going to really, really match and mirror what they want me to do, as opposed to me being Gene Volpe and a goofball, right?
Jake, what's your take on this? I mean,
I think everybody should be the most authentic you should be in life. I mean, if you're not the most authentic you're you're almost doing yourself a disservice. Sometimes it hurts people's souls a little bit. In addition, when we translate that to marketing and business, ladies and gentlemen, the market will tell you whether or not it accepts that in a product or a service or an individual, right? So just be you, be professional, be the most authentically you, but on a professional side, it's a perfect blend. We're all humans, and everybody knows that. So I think everybody overthinks this. To be honest with you, I really do. It's less of how you are allowing for other people to perceive you. It's maybe more you should be focused on charge hard, live action, full tilt all the time, getting communication out there.
Yeah,
Law of averages. And because it's what it comes down to is, people are in the real estate profession to go ahead and be that realtor, be that ambassador during the transaction. Go get more.
dude, I agree with you 100%. I mean, like I always talk about, I got painted fingernails and toenails. You know what? I don't give a flying fuck what anyone says about me. If you don't like me, get the fuck out of my life. End of story.
That was aggressive.
Well, I do it aggressively like that, and here's the reason why. It's because if you're going to be passive, then they're not going to take you seriously. And if you're going to be like, whoa, it was a joke. I'm sorry, y'all. I was just kidding about making fun of you. I'm like, all right, well, shut the fuck up, and let's get back to business. You want to buy a house or sell a house? Yes or no? Okay, let's go. I mean, I have a client of mine. Her name's Maria. Her boyfriend / fiance Ryan. I sold them their house 7 years ago. And guess what? You know how we bonded? I was a bouncer at a bar. She was a server like 15 or 20 years ago, like back when we were kids. And when she and I and Ryan went out looking at houses, dude, we walked into this vacant house, and we weren't in someone's actual personal house, okay? And we sat down, and and me being the curious cat that I am, I walked through this house, and I'm like, oh, fridge. Open up the fridge. Thing was loaded with alcohol. Like, it was beer, wine, hard liquor, everything. It was a really hot day. And so I look at Ryan, I look at Maria, and I'm like, do you guys want a beer? And they looked at me like, can we? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So I locked the front door. We sat down, and we powwowed in that house and with the air conditioning on, and we drank one beer per person. And you know what? We bonded over that, and we still laugh about it. That's like what Jake and Gene are saying. Like, be you, be real, and come hard, and never stop charging, because you know what? Your tribe will find you 100,000%. And it's just one of the funniest stories that I've ever had in my entire life, because there was zero fucks given at any point during this conversation. But you know what? Was I being personal or was I being professional? You guys make that distinction. I think I was towing the line on both, because I was both being professional and talking about real estate, but also being personal by sharing a beverage with folks. Now, was I stealing? I don't feel like I was, because it was a vacant house. But you know what? I got a second deal out of it, because I kept a friendship for 20 years over a stupid fucking Coors Light. I mean, give me your thoughts on that, gentlemen.
I love Coors Light.
I know, so does Ashley.
No, actually, that's a joke. I don't. I rather drink water.
It goes back to real estate is such a relationship-based game.
Right.
So it's the more relationships that you can go ahead and create, being the authentic you, being real to other people, understanding what they need, what's the motivators inside of their lives, what are some of those whys, and helping solve problems, being omnipresent and versatile to go ahead and expand your knowledge base, and then find new ways to go ahead and help.
So let me ask this. Well, let's talk about that really quick, Jake. That's a good point.
Yeah.
When it comes to building that side, do you think in this day and age, with all the social media and everything else, do you think people should fake it till they make it, or do you think they should be authentically themselves and then allow people to surround them and help them?
No. I think what they should do. You almost don't need to do this fake it till you make it kind of scenario, ladies and gentlemen. I want to change the way that you're thinking about things for a second. You need to become an educator. That means you need to get the knowledge in you. So if you're brand new to the real estate industry, or if you're struggling you need to deep dive into obtaining as much knowledge as possible on all of the different factors that are contributing to cause and effect right now in your local marketplace. People are not selling their homes because there's really nowhere to go, or they don't want to move out of town, or there's a struggle there. So what are you going to do to help? So we always talk about consumable content, right? So for you guys to go ahead and create consumable content and knowledge that these people can go ahead and consume, it's important. So I would say you guys need to go ahead and be in front of all of the information that people on a buying side, selling side need to go ahead and hear and see whenever they're thinking about purchasing or selling in the moment, or different contributing factors right now. And it will come. You don't have to do this whole fake it till you make it. You guys are the educational ambassadors of your craft. It's time to get out in front of that knowledge, create consumable content, and go talk to as many damn people as possible and be the most authentic you, period.
Yeah. Done. Drop mic. I love that. So what you're really saying is, and Gene, weigh in on this, what you're saying is knowledge is power. So you don't have to go out, and I'm not, guys, hey, look, I'm first one to admit this. I did this. I went out, I bought the Mercedes, I got the expensive house, the little over $1 million home that I bought for myself when I was like 25. Dumb shit. That was a horrible fucking move. I dumped all that stuff, one, because I went through bankruptcy and foreclosure and I had to get rid of it. But I also got rid of the Mercedes and everything else because I didn't feel authentically true to me. And so when you start gaining knowledge, right? And then you get local knowledge, you get national knowledge, and then you start building connections based upon what you're influencing people's lives with. I mean, that's a powerful, powerful tool. So, Gene, let's say I was your client, which I actually am your client. One, you're going to go out there and make me get education, right? Then you're going to say, do some local shit, become the local mayor. Then get out there and do more national stuff, so you can be more, think locally, go, work globally. Then you go national, and then you start building those connections. How would you market me on that?
Video. Your network is your net worth. Jake said it a couple minutes ago, and I think there's just a couple things here: is establish and build meaningful relationships with as many people as you can, and that stuff will absolutely turn into business for you. There's just no way around it. From you, so Greg, I think one of the biggest things in my business is to educate and empower my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, if I give you a fish, what happens? You keep coming back. If I teach you to fish, what happens? Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way that I think this stuff works. Is if I get on the mic every day and every time I say something to my people, then when I say that, I mean, like maybe it's each individual phone call, or if you watch some of these podcasts, Chris Stager, I talked to him yesterday. He's like, I feel like I know you because I watch you every week. And he's saying he always shares the show. So shout out to my man. But I feel like if I have a conversation with you every week and you leave that conversation either shaking your head because you think I'm nuts and I'm funny, or going, that was a really good takeaway. He gave me some really good stuff that I can use in my regular life. And you come back the next week and that continues to happen, we're going to solidify our relationship. You're going to be educated and empowered in certain areas that maybe you weren't before. Mm-hmm. And if there's ever a need for us to work together moving forward, whether you're a client today or you want to spend more money in marketing or you have a friend that needs help, you're probably going to think about me, right? So it's really creating and fostering those relationships, whether it be, and going back to what you said, how would I do that for you? Mm-hmm. Start putting that out in as many places as you possibly can. If you continue to educate and empower people with no expectation of anything in return, the money's going to come back.
Okay. When it comes out to educating people, a lot of agents that may be thinking they're newer in the business or anything else like that, Jake, question to you is, if they're new in the business, and given that you've led thousands and thousands of men and women in the military, armed forces, and everything else, and again, we always thank you for your service, how would you empower somebody who's like, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, yada, yada. How would you lead someone through that if they didn't have anyone to step to or lean on? What would be your words of advice on that?
Well, first and foremost, thank goodness that they're listening to people on Real Estate Uncensored for years and looking around at other successful people in the industry and obtaining knowledge on things that work. So when most people start in any new industry, they're going to go ahead and look towards other success folks, right? And they're going to pull all of the things that you know would work well for you that you can go ahead and get behind, and all of the stuff that obviously might be out of your reach right now as a new agent. Okay, it's first and foremost, but really it's about getting out and looking around and seeing what those contributing factors are. Video is key. Now, when Gene said video, it is so key. Now, this is what I told my attorney. He sucks really bad. Your website sucks. And he's like, Jake, you know, I'm like, look, you're going to cut me straight. I'm going to have to cut you straight. You're sucking right now really bad. Okay, I did the exact same thing for my accountant. So I said, look, I know if I'm looking for you as an accountant, I just don't want to show up and see your face with your hand up in the air. It says, hi, I'm an accountant, and I've got 15 years of experience. I want to see videos that talks to me about things that I need to know as a consumer, like what should I do with my 401k? Should I borrow against it? What is a Roth IRA? Amongst how many other things. As soon as he started putting all of these videos on there, he 10x'd his business, and so did my attorney.
Mm-hmm.
My attorney's putting out videos saying, hey, you know what? Sometimes life gets tough. And in these moments, if you're dealing with this or that, you know what I mean? And this is the process, and this is what you can expect by consulting with us. Creates a relationship, right? And it starts to go ahead and talk to consumer. So what I highly suggest is to look at resources like Greg McDaniel says all the time, ladies and gentlemen, go to Realty Times, start to consume buyer side, seller side advice, first time home buyer type stuff, things that are going on in the industry. Obtain knowledge and then choose to go ahead and actually shoot some of that information if you feel that it's worthy to go ahead and share. But the buyers and the sellers, in those moments that they're actually there in high intent, they're looking for things. Every time that you go out, you're going to have these frequently asked questions that you find yourself answering all the time on the buy side, sell side, or environmental side.
Yeah.
And also those things that you're suggesting to these people. So,
yeah. Words of wisdom, like nobody's business there. Another way, guys, if you don't want to go do stuff about real estate right now, here's a really easy thing to do. Go into your inbox in your email. Go look at what your clients and your friends and your family, what questions or thoughts and theories they have. Make videos about those. They're real-time questions that people that they need answers on. It's very
To add to that, I've seen people do this with a lot of success. Just post something. I'm about ready to go live over the next couple of weeks to talk about some things that are happening in real estate. What would you want to know about? And people will respond with questions they have.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I see it on Clubhouse all the time, and we're going to wrap it up here in a minute, guys. But I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Clubhouse, the new app? Are any of you on it? If you are, what are your experiences? And Gene's smiling at me like a goofy fool. He's like, I got so many answers for you.
No, I don't. I don't. Let me help you. I literally haven't logged on to Clubhouse in a month.
I'm going to fucking slap you.
I swear to God, I haven't. It might even be longer than that.
Why?
Well, my iPad's dead, and
it's called a charger. You plug it in.
I don't care. Look, I'm busy. I don't care.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get back on. I'm interested to see how many followers I picked up while I was away, but no, I'll be back on. I just, it's just has been 38th on my list, and I can't get past number 3. So,
dude, so Clubhouse for me, I started with like 300 followers, just based upon like who's already in the Clubhouse and friends and everything else. Just by me participating, I gained 100 followers from yesterday to today. So I'm at 2,500 followers, and
wow.
A lot. No, it's not a lot.
That's good amount.
Do you have a shitty bio? Yeah, I do. But you know what? I get in there and I participate. Guys, if you want to get your voice out there and you don't want to do something like what we're doing on video, go to your Chamber of Commerce. This is when it comes down to marketing. Get a list of the local business owners, like I keep telling you motherfuckers to do, and then invite them onto Clubhouse, or just ask them to join, because you only have so many invites, right? And then start like I live in Walnut Creek, so Walnut Creek businesses, Danville businesses, Alamo businesses, Concord businesses, Pleasant Hill businesses, San Ramon businesses. These are all different cities. And then have a round table and get people talking to see how you can throw business to each other, get other real estate agents, lenders, like make it a communal thing. It's going to cost you $0, And that's marketing, ladies and gentlemen, because then you link your Instagram bio back to your on your page, which is critical to link your Instagram bio to it. Then people start DMing you, which is a direct message, and you start a communication and a relationship. Now you can then go offline, online to offline very, very quickly, and you start bringing value. And that's how you build a business, because those people have relationships you can never have with other folks that need your help.
Is it on Android yet?
No, it's still only iOS.
Huh.
They're talking about rolling it out, but they have a ton of stuff on there, and they have all these rooms and everything else. We can get into this. Anybody that wants to learn about this, DM me on Facebook or Instagram. You guys know where to find me. I'm not hard to find, and we can go from there. But
well, we have to find out Jake's thoughts on this.
Oh, I see him twirling his pen over there, so I know he's got his brain's working 1,000 miles an hour. He's like a cat. When he starts twiddling his pen, I mean, just his tail's wagging. Like, I got something to say. I gotta jump in. So, Jake.
So, for me, Clubhouse is the new fad, right? It's a cool place to go. People are still trying to figure out how to go ahead and properly talk there. What's the etiquette of some of the different rooms? But it gives you a wonderful opportunity for exposure. I always go back to this, right? So from a core business stand-up, have a website that works for you, core nucleus of your whole entire world on the line. Then get involved in social in all of these different places, because you're able to go ahead and create conversation, relationships, get in the mix, point people back towards your website. It's always about that customer journey online. Clubhouse has got its definite pros. For B2B type networking, other people in different industries. From a B2C standpoint, just like Doug and Daniel were talking about, it's important to go ahead and maybe create a room to go ahead and talk about some of the things that are the social norms inside your local marketplace, stuff that's going on, updates, cool places to eat, 5 best neighborhoods to live in if you have a family, some of the best parks. It's just about all of these concepts and ideas, ladies and gentlemen, always will work in some form or capacity if you take action and participate and do it. Mm-hmm. So don't overthink it. Just take action and start moving forward with your business. So today's program was about, effectiveness in multiplying your efforts and kind of talking about daily routines and schedules from successful people. It will always come back to the actionable items that you do or do not do in your business. And then once you find yourself totally consumed where your hands are up in the air and you say, this hurts, I can't do this anymore, I need help. It's when you start looking into virtual assistants to help and programs to help with your time efforts and ways to go ahead and connect to more and more people. But successful agents right now, to go ahead and get the elusive seller listing, are texting over 100 new people every single day. They're absolutely sending out a weekly email, and they're getting involved, shooting consumable content that is either on video, preferably written. If you don't do video, okay, sending that information out, getting the word out, helping train, educate, and teach people who are your prospective customers and or past clients. So you just got to sit down, analyze yourself, do a very strong self-check on where you are knowing that you're failing yourself and what you need to do to step up to the game and pound the hell out of those new business goals and get after it. So
yeah. Gene is currently he's vigorously writing his life goals down. If you guys are not watching this is great. I cannot wait to see what hashtag Staying Handsome is writing down over there.
It's only 2 of them.
Only 2. Good. Well, then if you're a 50% fail rate, then you'll be a winner. All right, let's wrap this up. Gene, hashtag Staying Handsome. And by the way, I'm going to say this again. I always say this. You look balder than normal, and I'm assuming that you have not cut your hair for quite a while.
No, just like 2 days or so.
Oh, damn it! Right? Oh, you make me look stupid.
No, it's okay. So you're halfway there.
So yeah, the funny thing is, on Gene's screen it says Gene Wolfe and then DOTCOM. I'm like, could you just put a dot there? But okay. How do people reach out to you, and how can they? What are your services? I mean, what do you do?
You just told them. I feel like you just told them how to get in touch with me, didn't you?
It's your job. You do it. You're the marketer.
All right, GeneVolpe.com, but with the period, not the DOT. I'm not talking services. If you want to get with me, because you've been watching this long enough, you know what I do. You want to get with me and talk about how I can help you or educate or empower you. That's what I'll do. Hit me up via my website or any really Gene Volpe on any of the social media platforms.
Or just look for Evil Bald Ninja, and he will be there.
Yes.
Like Batman.
I forgot to tell you this, actually. Wait, before we go to Jake. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
You're doing great 50 minutes into the show with this in stream editing, finally.
It's 45 minutes.
Dick Trackets would be very, very, very happy with you. Somebody applied to a mortgage company the other day as a business development manager, and I was listed as one of the references on the application.
Oh Lord!
And it said, "How do you know Gene?" And it said, "He's the evil bald ninja." They sent me the app, and I was like, "What am I looking at here?" And I was like, "Oh my God, look at this!"
Oh, that's too fun. Oh my God. Jake, the Wolf, Papa Wolf, Sergeant Wolf, leader and sergeant of all KlevrLeads Nation, agents. How do we get a hold of you? What do you do? Where are you from? And everything else.
Everybody can go to KlevrLeads.com and enter your information. One of my assistants will go ahead and reach out to you. You can schedule some personal time with me on my calendar that fills up constantly every single week. I will start participating with people on LinkedIn. So if you're a LinkedIn kind of a person, come on over, join me over there, send me a message, and we can find some time. This Friday, I'm going to be unveiling behind the curtain all things successful with KlevrLeads. So we're going to show how people go ahead and come on, and within the first 5 days, I already have seller leads. So the best way to do that, if you're wanting to get invited to the webinar that's going to be coming up, and we're going to be running one a week now moving forward, go to KlevrLeads.com, enter your information, and that will allow for your email information to go ahead and be put in the back end. So you get all of the alerts whenever we go ahead and send out all of the success and show people what's working well across the whole United States of America.
Love it, brother. Love it. All right, guys. Then there's that, and then I'm not going to zoom in. Oh, I'm going to zoom in on me. No, I'm not.
Good. Yeah, do it. Let's see.
Greg, how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, Jake. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. Guys, the way you get a hold of me is very, very simple. Just you guys can DM me on Instagram or Facebook if you guys want to talk about prospecting, videos, scripting for doing calls or doors or anything else, listing presentations, anything along those lines. If you want to ask me about cooking tips, that would be a horrible life decision because, God, I tried to kill my girlfriend the other day with my cooking, even though I was trying to make her a nice meal. So let's not do that. But anything else, guys, go ahead. It's really simple. Do I have my number here? I think I can get my number up here really fast. Whatever. I don't know where it is. It's lost. Oh, there it is. Here. There you go. Call me on this number, 925-915-1978, like the year. It's my cell phone. It's very easy to get a hold of me, and we can kind of go from there. But I just want to thank all of you guys for being here. These are my incredible co-hosts, Mr. Gene Volpe, Mr. Sergeant Jake Wolfe. Guys, thank you so much. But I do need one thing before we close the show out. And Gene, Jake, you know your fucking jobs. So give me two colors.
Dollar bill green.
Green, all right.
No, dollar bill green.
Oh, dollar bill.
Yeah, that's important because I'm going sage green. They're two different colors, but they work very well together.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Okay, we got a dollar bill green. We got a sage green, double-sided bow tie on this show. Thank you guys. We love you to pieces. Go make sure you guys give us a like and a follow on all social media places, all places that you watch and listen to our podcast. Give us a 5-star, not a 2-star, because that will help the algorithm get it out to more people. We love you to pieces. We can't do without you. Until then, I fucked that up. Until next time. We go, ninjas.
You screwed that up too.